problem.
Men.
What's up, guys? I have this clip that I think it'll be interesting. It's pretty long, so let's check it out. Right? Lonely woman instantly regrets destroying 18 years of marriage. Let's check this out.
Well, today's the day. I drove all the way to Arizona, from Arizona, on my way to Marshall, Michigan, because my husband called me, who, we hadn't been getting along for a while now, but, came down with COVID. Me being a nurse, knowing the dangers, knowing the possibilities, and for him to call me. And I told him I would come. I would be there. I mean, I am still his wife. I do love him still, even the hell he has put me through hell. And I do care. I'm not this cold-hearted bitch that he makes me out to be. So that was the last straw. After telling me, after I said, I'll come. And he said, I'll believe it when you show up. So, to 18 years of marriage, I've taken them off, and they're not going back on. Not on this finger, anyway. My emeralds, I love my emeralds. So, I will wear those, but I won't wear no more wedding rings that you gave me. I'll just have them, the diamonds and the emeralds, set in something else. Because I'm not giving them back to you to give to some trashy trailer trash. Because this woman's independent. I can make my own money. And that's what you loved about me, was the fact I was independent. I was a faithful military wife. After all them long-ass deployments. And don't say, I ain't all that, but I ain't ugly. And I'm faithful. There's a man out there who'll appreciate that, even at my age, which he says, at 50, I'm 54. Wow. At 54, you'll never find anybody else. Well,
I'll say this, right? I would never say a woman she won't find someone. But I would say that, will you find the one that you want? Will you find the one that you want? And will the one that you want stay with you long term? That's the thing that most likely won't happen. Okay? That's the thing where women gotta understand that your value, dating market value, isn't what you think it is. It's never what you think it is. Okay? This is the thing where strong independent, it's nice and all. Because I've dated strong independent women. Right? It's a nice idea. But in practice, right? Strong, it's like when you're strong, they are argumentative, pig-headed, stubborn. When it's in practice, it's actually annoying. It's really annoying. So the independent thing is that, it's a bit kind of confusing, right? It's in type where you don't need him, you can make your own money, yet you're expectant, right? He's not doing things for you. He's not doing that for you. So it's a weird thing.
You know what? I may not, but I don't need anyone else. And if I do, I'll choose him.
This woman thinks that because she is independent, men will line up to be in a relationship with her. This is the big lie the media sold to women. Men and women value different things in relationships. Most accomplished men do not care about how independent you are. That's just called being an adult. This next clip will show you exactly how social media and single friends validate bad behaviors and push women to break their marriages so that they can all be miserable. Because we all...
Here's the thing, right? With the independent thing. You know, I've been thinking a lot about that. Women's independent. You know, in a sense where they want you but not need you. Is that they only want you until they don't want you anymore. Right? Their independence show you that they can mistreat you. Because they don't need you. Right? They can do it all on their own. But that way of thinking kind of brings up where they will treat you bad without caring about it. They will be expectant because their want for you is only determined on how useful you are or how you make them feel, right? If you gotta constantly make them happy, right? You gotta constantly validate their feelings. In a sense, so that's the thing where I've partially learned that I want a woman that needs me, right? A woman that, you know, maybe it's my own thing, right? I think a lot of men, the whole providing, protecting thing, we feel a sense of purpose when a woman needs you, right? When you are a very important part of her life. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's personally, right? Maybe some men love the independent women where she don't need him or whatever. But I kind of think like average men are not like that. But if they are, they are. But for me, it's like as an average man, I just feel like if I am being there for my woman, right, providing, protecting, being the rock, I want her to need me, right? A woman that doesn't need me, well, she will mistreat me, right? She won't value me. So, I don't know. That's part of my thing.
Know that misery loves company.
I want to thank you all for the positive thoughts, reinforcement, the beautiful words, not too many negative ones. And just know, I haven't made it home to Arizona yet. I actually made it to New Mexico. I've got to be at work like in 12 hours. I hope I make it home. But anyway, I'm good. I'm good. I went to see an old friend who's I met while I was a wife and my husband was in the Marine Corps before he transferred to the Army. A really dear friend, and so I spent 36 hours there with her, and it helped a lot. So, and reading your comments, and I don't care if he sees this. I don't care if his so-called girlfriend or whatever she's calling herself these days sees this. I don't care who sees it. So just know I've moved on. I'm moving on. I'm going to be happy. I love my job, and I'm going to do this. So
that's the thing. Honestly, in my opinion, what makes people actually happy is human connection. We are social creatures. Now, you know, having a job or having a career, it may bring a sense of fulfillment, but honestly, if you are working for someone, the chances are, plus if you're not necessarily doing a job that's like a passion or whatever, it is hard to sustain that love for the love or the drive for a job, right? Working the 9 to 5 is like, there's a certain point where it's just draining, right? It's stressful. It's physically, mentally, you know, emotionally draining. Okay, and it's not that fulfilling. Okay, you're making average money. You're doing a job that, you know, you're working for someone, right? You're making money for the other person while you're getting crumbs. So, I mean, there's a certain point where that job, you realize that it's just a job. It's just something you do because you're an adult. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't know what she does, right? But well, she says she's a nurse. Now, nurses, like, let me say this, right? Dealing with people, there's a certain point where it's not the best, right? I know a lot of nurses that they get tired of it, right? The personalities, you deal with different personalities, the stress of the job, stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe she does love her job, but you know, she's 52. It's a certain point where you retire. So the job that sustained you, made you happy, well, that's gone, and you have nobody now. So you don't have the job that supposedly made you happy, and now you also don't have anyone that's there for you to be a part of your happiness or contribute to your happiness. So I don't know. I mean, it's great, you know. Here's the thing, right? I will always preach that it's not a bad thing for you to stay single for the rest of your life. I'm not gonna ever say women need to have be in a relationship. They need to be married. They need to have children. No, you don't. You're an adult. Do what makes you happy. Okay? So I'm doubting it, but I mean, if your career, your job makes you happy, great. Stick with that. Don't complain. But this is the thing, right? I'm more about do what makes you happy, but don't complain about the things that, you know, like let's say relationship. If being with a man didn't make you happy, then don't complain that, oh, men are shitty. I can't find a man, or men are lying. You didn't need a man, right? That men don't make you happy. Being with a man didn't make you happy. So your job makes you happy already. So focus on that. But this is also the thing where women have a lot of things, right? Their job, friends, family, to sustain supposed happiness. But I always think this, right? Maybe it's just a man's point of view. Friendships are very finite, right? Friends, they have their own life. They have their own life, and a lot of them, unless there's a whole bunch of single friends, right? Which maybe it is. Rarely their life will revolve around you, right? Rarely will they have enough time for you like an actual partner would have. So there will be a lot of lonely nights because, again, your friend will have their own life. You're not the center of their life. Usually, and I believe that's how it works, is that your partner, you are the center of each other's lives. So, you know, that kind of fill in the gaps of loneliness. But I don't know. You know, that's the thing where I perceive that. I mean, it should be like that, but maybe not.
Keep me in your prayers, okay?
She was not even sure that she was making the right call by leaving her husband. But now, because she got the validation she wanted from her comments, she thinks that everything is just magically going to work out. I strongly believe that most women really overestimate their sexual market value, and that is why they think that, by leaving their husbands, they will find something better out there. Let me show you what I mean.
Hey, it's Thursday. I haven't quite made it to Arizona yet. I am driving across Texas right now, so hopefully I'll be in Arizona. I got 664 miles before I reach there. Looking forward to my new chapter in my life, putting behind a lot of bad stuff, bad vibes, and at 54 I'm starting over, and it feels good. It feels really, really good. But anyway, took a job out at the Navajo reservation in Pinon, and we'll see what life has to offer out there. And I'm going to make it good no matter what. So, anywho.
So let me get this straight. Instead of keeping on working on your marriage, you decided to divorce your husband of 18 years at 54 over an argument and believe that you are going to find a better man than your husband. You just can't make this shit up. She just posted this video where you see her with her husband and her niece camping and making jokes just a few weeks ago prior deciding to get a divorce. This proves that most of the issues these women complain about are usually fixable if they have the will to make the marriage work. Instead, they prefer to leave because they think,
here's also the thing, right? At the end of the day, you chose him. I honestly, in my opinion, I honestly don't believe men change like that. How he is usually, now, of course, there are cases that, partners drastically change. But honestly, who they are at the beginning of your relationship or close to the beginning, or at least at the beginning of your marriage, that's who they are at the end or when you decide to divorce them. So really, let's say this. If he's not the most affectionate type of person, well, he most likely wasn't the most affectionate type of person at the start of your marriage. Okay? So, yeah. And here's the thing, right? Now, let me talk about the changes. In my opinion, let's say this, if he was the most affectionate person in the beginning of the relationship, and now you divorce him probably because he's not. If you wanted to work on your marriage, usually you got to figure out, like, you know what? What made him change? Was it how you treated him? Okay? How you treated him. Did that change him? I mean, this is something like, I think the lack of accountability, a lot of women or a lot of divorcees don't realize is that, a lot of times your partner is affected by how you treat them. Okay? Or they change how they treated you because how you treated them. Okay? The change, maybe, and again, I'm assuming, right? Let's say the sex has decreased a lot, or the affection, the love that you gave him once, right? The appreciation that you gave him once, that decreased drastically, or it has decreased. So his affection towards you or appreciation towards you have also decreased. So, it's a bigger thing than women maybe let out to be, or view that he may have changed because you have treated him a certain way. You have essentially changed the relationship dynamics too. So I mean, there are ways to think about it. So yeah.
that they can do better than their husbands. But when reality hit hard and loneliness settle in, they start to complain and cry on the internet. Check it out.
So, drinking the Irish whiskey. And dinner. 'Cause I just don't feel like making anything. Let it burn, baby, burn. Either way, the whiskey's gonna burn or the hot Cheetos are.
And this is the thing, right? I also learned that with 18 years of marriage, a lot of marriages, a lot of couples, they forget to, make time for each other. If there is any point in your marriage where you are alone drinking whiskey and eating Cheetos, yeah, no duh, your marriage fails. No duh. Because I'm sorry, that showed you that there were years of said, you do you, I do me, right? Where there's no more connection anymore. So I think that's something that lack of communication, lack of actually trying to work on things, right? Or let it come to a point where you both don't want to work on it, right? You let it get to a point where, you know what, you didn't talk about it, you didn't make the actual changes, or you didn't make the actual right choices, where now you're both, you know what, he's there, I'm here, we're not together, right? We're not functioning like a couple, like a unit, right? Like a marriage. Because my sister, right? She's a difficult woman, right? But she's strong, independent, yet she has a great marriage. And I've seen it, and she's talked to me. Like, main thing is to make it work, right? The least you could do is that every month you guys got to go on a date, right? Every month. She makes it. You don't. I mean, in a way that you make it a chore, but you don't make it a chore in the sense that it has to happen. We have to at least go on a date once a month, at least. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, or you can't go on multiple dates, right? A month, but it gotta be that one time where you make time for the love, for the romance, for each other's, love to sustain, right? So, I just think that maybe she let it go to a point where it got to this kind of level.
Anyway, I'm gonna go take a long hot shower. Get ready for tomorrow. See what kind of shit I have to put up with tomorrow. Damn. Oh, God, I'm ready to retire. I am burnt out on nursing.
You guys remember?
She's burned out on nursing. That's what they're not. I just said that too, right? Saying that, oh, I have my career, I have my job, I love it. You're burnt out on it. That's the thing. That's the thing where women these career women, right? Thinking that let me just fall back on my career, my job. It's not fulfilling. It's really not, because at the end of the day, it's just a job. It's just a job. It's just something you gotta do as an adult. It doesn't necessarily make you happy. A job does not make you happy. Now, like I said, maybe you're making money from a hobby, like the some people, like, they knit, some people they make crafts, whatever. Something that you enjoy doing from day one, and that that you cannot, see otherwise. Because here's the thing, right? I love focusing on this channel. I love making the content. I cannot see myself not loving it, in my opinion. So, but it's not a job, in my opinion, because I'm not really making money or anything from it. I have a job. I go to it. I don't love it, but you know what? It is what it is. So I'm not banking a lot. That's what I want to fall back on. That my job. No. Right? But a lot of women, they honestly use the job to, what is it? Fill the hole, right? The hole, the gap, or whatever, of loneliness, of, not the human connection. So,
Remember when she said that she will be fine because she loves her job? Well, now she is out here complaining like a kid that no coworker is even checking up on her when she is lonely.
How you deal with
I think it's kind of funny how
I'm proud of how you handle disappointment.
no one
don't
from work has
disappear when you fail.
really checked on me, except
keep
for the
the faith and
travelers,
push
a few of
through.
the travelers.
I'm proud
It's kinda
of your
funny.
view of life.
Ma'am, you had a
that's the thing, right? Maybe it's different for women. But as a man, I think I have decent friends. I have okay friends, but like, at the end of the day, like I said before, they have their own lives. You're not the center of their life. Your friends don't necessarily. They're not gonna call you every day. They're not gonna call you every week. Hell, you'll be lucky if they call you every month, or every other month, or every couple of months, right? To actually check up on you, okay? Because again, you're not the center of their world. Usually, how it works out is that your partner, who you chose to spend the rest of your life with, who you chose to spend years with, hopefully, right? That person will be the center of your world while you're the center of their world. Those are the people that actually care. Those are the people who should actually want to know how you're doing. But this is the thing where women wanted to think about, like, no, let me use my friends and my job to fill in that gap. So I don't need him. I don't need to work on it. I don't need to, work on my marriage, work on my relationship, work on the person that actually, make it work with the actual person that, would want to be with me.
whole family that you decided to leave behind. And now you want your coworkers to keep you company. You just can't make this shit up. Guys, now her whole life is based on adopting cats so that they can keep her company.
And that's the thing. right? Buy a dog, buy a cat, and die alone. You essentially become that now, right? That's how your life is. Buy a dog, buy a cat for companionship, right? To fill in that hole of loneliness, and then die alone, right? That's the thing. You wanna focus on your career. You wanna focus on your friends. Okay, cool, right? But again, that's not enough to fill in the actual hole, right? The actual gap of not having a partner. But to help it, to help ignore the lingering feelings of loneliness, women will do this: have a cat, have a dog, die alone.
Ad.
Good afternoon, TikTokies. I took a little nap, had a rough morning, had physical therapy. Well, I wake up to this. I got some sleeping, napping partners, and one even down there.
Poor cats. God damn. She is that's better. You're just like you're definitely jumping into. She's truly the cat lady.
Yeah.
Fellas, invest in cat and dog food because this looks like the fate of a lot of modern women. I personally do not have any sympathy for women like her who decide to break their families just because they want to experience something new, then come back crying on the internet when everything goes left. And you shouldn't have.
Here's the thing, right? I honestly believe long-term marriage, long-term relationship won't be easy. I mean, hopefully it's not difficult, but it's not going to be easy as well, right? Because here's the thing, right? A lot of people say that it should be easy, but should it? You are with a individual that is not a carbon copy of yourself. You are dealing, hopefully trying to compromise, hopefully, trying to make it work with an individual that has their own autonomy, has their own viewpoints, own way of thinking. So really, it requires work. Now, hard work or whatever, it's up to you, right? Because if you continuously work at it, hopefully it gets easier, right? Hopefully, but this is the thing where I think a lot of marriages or relationships fail is that you get complacent. You don't actually continue to work on it. And then the complacentness, it gets harder, right? And gets, more difficult to actually, I stop really working on it or stop making it easier. And then now it's the amount of work that needs to fix it, like this hole was very like this the hole or whatever, right, of the relationship was so small, but me ignoring it or not actually working on it, it's gotten so big now that it's hard to shrink that, that problem, that hole that the relationship is, that's in the relationship. So that's something that I'm seeing more and more, right? Where people want it or assume it to be easy. There's actually no work to it. But the work makes it easy, in my opinion, right? Working on it, communicating, compromising, continuously focusing on it, right? Not ignoring it, not ignoring your partner, continuously building and sustaining that connection with your partner makes the work of the relationship easier over time, because again, it gets a routine, right? So, but when you ignore it and you let things slide or you let things deteriorate to the point where it is so hard to actually do the work, that is just it just makes things difficult. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it's just my own viewpoints. about relationships and marriages, but I don't know. Maybe, I mean, you tell me, guys. What do you guys think about how to make relationships work? Because again, it's something that we need to think about if we want to be in a good, hopefully lifelong relationship. So I don't know. What do you guys think?